From the low-energy ground state to the recognition in the flatness, you make coffee the same way you've made it every morning for years. The ritual is intact. The smell is the same. The mug is the same. The morning light comes through the same window at the same angle. Nothing is different. And yet something that was previously present in all of this is not present today. It's not pain, it's the absence of something you can't quite name, a quality that made the coffee actually taste like morning instead of like a substance approximating morning. You sit with the mug. You wait for it to arrive. The color is wrong. Not wrong in a describable way. The color of everything, the morning, the coffee, the light through the window, the faces, the future, has a quality that is subtracted from, flattened, depressurized. The world continues to present its ordinary objects. You continue to respond to them with ordinary responses. But something that was previously present in the responding is absent. A dimension has been removed. The world is two-dimensional again, and you cannot remember quite what the third dimension felt like, though you know it was there. This is the geography of depression. Not the dramatic collapse. The dramatic collapse is easier in a way, because it announces itself and gives your suffering a form the world can recognize. This is the low arousal kind, the gray kind. The kind that is hard to name because it presents as nothing rather than as something. The absence, not the presence, of what was previously available. Here is what the nervous system is doing. Depression at the neurological level is, in significant part, an energy regulation response. The brain accounts for 20% of the body's energy consumption. It is metabolically expensive. Under conditions of sustained stress, unresolvable threat, or extreme loss, the nervous system initiates a kind of energetic withdrawal, a protective reduction in metabolic expenditure. The dampened affect, the reduced motivation, the dimming of pleasure response, the slowed cognition, these are not malfunctions. They are the system entering a low-energy state to conserve resources in conditions where the normal expenditures are not producing results. The organism that continues to spend maximum energy on a situation that produces maximum suffering and minimum reward is the organism that exhausts itself. The retreat is protective. The flatness is the system's attempt to stabilize. Depression is not the absence of feeling. It is the nervous system deciding the cost of feeling has become too high. It is not wrong. It is exhausted. This is important. The depression is not the organism failing. It is the organism trying to survive. The specific mechanism, the reward circuitry, reduces its sensitivity. The dopamine system, responsible for generating the motivational salience that makes things feel worth pursuing, stops assigning that salience. The things that previously produced reward, food, connection, achievement, beauty, the sensation of sun on skin, continue to produce the sensations associated with them. But the signal that says, this matters, this is worth it, this is the reason to move toward the future, that signal is reduced or absent. The result is not sadness. Sadness is a response to loss. Anhedonia is the absence of the system that made things feel worth having. It is not, I want and cannot get. It is, I cannot want. The wanting mechanism is offline, and the world, which was previously organized by the wanting, becomes a collection of neutral objects. Present, real, just not pulling. You can see the beauty. You cannot reach it. The glass is clear. The wall is real. And the horror specific to this The awareness that you cannot feel what you know you should be able to feel. The meta-awareness. I am here with something beautiful and I cannot reach it. I am with people I love and I cannot feel the love. The awareness of the absence becomes its own specific suffering, piled on top of the flatness, another layer, a prison inside the prison. Will yourself to feel. The circuit that generates the feeling is not responding to will. Will is downstream of the reward circuitry. You cannot will your way into wanting. Wait for it to lift. This is sometimes the correct answer. The cycle does eventually move, but the waiting, from inside the flatness, has no horizon. The geometry of depression compresses time. The present feels permanent. The past feels permanently gray in retrospect, and the future generates no pull because pull is what is missing. Identify the cause and fix it. Useful to attempt, and many depressions have no single fixable cause. They are the convergence of multiple factors, biological, historical, situational, into a state that is not one thing to be removed. They are the sum of 1,000 small costs and the withdrawal of the system that was covering them. The world has not changed. Your capacity to care about it has gone offline. You are standing in the same life, looking at it through different glass. Shiva to Ribu, in the Ribu Gita, everything is only Brahman. The ground state was never absent, never achieved, never lost. Sit with the specific precision of this for depression. The flatness, the depressurized quality, the absence of color, the low energy retreat, is the nervous system arriving at the closest thing it can reach from the inside to the ground state. The reward circuitry has stopped assigning salience. The wanting mechanism is offline. The mind is not actively pursuing objects, constructing narratives, generating the propulsive energy that usually keeps the constructed self in motion. Something has stopped. The question is not whether it should have stopped. The question is what is visible in the stopping. Brahman, the ground state, is not described in the Ribu Gita as ecstatic. It is described as still, as prior to the movement of wanting, as the field in which the salience assignment system and the reward circuit and the motivational pull all arise, and in which their absence also arises. The depression is not Brahman, but the depression has, in its flatness, stripped away many of the overlays that normally obscure what the Ribu Gita is pointing at. The constructed self requires energy to maintain. In the low energy state, the construction is running at minimal capacity. The stripping is not pleasant. It was not chosen. It came with the wrong kind of nothing, not the free open nothing of samadhi, but the contracted, suffering nothing of anhedonia. And yet, in the flatness, something is still present. The awareness that knows the color is wrong, that registers the absence of the dimension, is itself not absent. It is aware. It is receiving the gray morning. It is present for the people it cannot feel the love for. It is here. The awareness that receives the depression is not depressed. The awareness that knows the flatness is not flat. It is receiving the flatness without flinching, without the capacity to want something other than the flatness, and also without resistance to it, because the system generating resistance is also running at low capacity. There is in this something the Ribu Gita has been pointing at. The ground state was always here, underneath the salience assignment, and the wanting and the reaching. The depression has not created it. The depression has, in its way, revealed the territory that the reward circuitry normally covers. This is not a recommendation of depression. The nervous system needs support, nourishment, treatment, the careful tending that allows the metabolic retreat to become a genuine rest rather than a collapse. All of that is real and necessary. But in the middle of it, the awareness that knows the flatness is not flat. It is the same awareness that knew the color was full. Both states appear in it. Neither changes its nature. The ground state was not absent when the color was full. It is not absent now. Everything is only Brahman. The gray morning is Brahman. The absence of the third dimension is Brahman wearing the specific costume of a nervous system in retreat. And the awareness that receives it all, steady, present, neither elevated by the full color nor diminished by the gray, is not waiting for the depression to lift in order to be whole. It is already whole. Right now. In the gray,